Welcome back, everyone. This is taken at face value, now world order. This current racial tension surrounding this George Floyd narrative is nothing out of the blue. In fact, this is something that the Liar Liar Pants on Fire Secret Drama Society cult has been planning for quite some time. How they do this build-up is incrementally, to make it appear as if things are an epidemic or a pandemic. And we're releasing a preview of some content that you can find in our private video series, Taken at Face Value, because the time is now to take the awakening to the next level. So what we're going to do in this piece is take a look at what is actually going on behind the scenes. And we're going to expose to you who the Liar Liar Pants on Fire Secret Drama Society cult really are and what they've been up to right in front of our faces. If you haven't already guessed who is actually playing this character on this interview on Democracy Now!, and you can find the link to this video in which this screenshot comes from, but this character presents himself to be Albert Woodfox, and his story is that he was held in solitary confinement for 43 years. And of course, his story is that this is a racially motivated punishment. But when we were listening to this ridiculous story that was being told by a man who still had a mind left after supposedly being in solitary confinement for 43 years, I'm sure you could easily recognize, even before we do this side-by-side image comparison of who we know to be Denzel Washington, once again lowering the opacity in Photoshop of the Denzel Washington image to about 50%, and just we do this so that we can lay one image on top of the other when we are comparing what is supposed to be just two random men, right? But as we've seen in previous pieces, these facial features should not be matching up like they do in these examples if they were in fact just two random men. But as you can see, as we roll the opacity back up, leaving the Denzel Washington photo over the Albert Woodfox photo, you can see with your own eyes that every facial feature between these two supposedly different men completely match, showing us once again that this is just another way that this same cult we've been exposing builds these narratives to a breaking point, like we're seeing in the George Floyd narrative and all these supposed protests. Another example here is very recent, and this is getting us into levels that are presidential, as you'll see. Because what we're going to take a look at next is another racially motivated story. So this one supposedly is Mayan Burrell that you're looking at in this screenshot coming from ABC News' channel. And the YouTube link you can find again to visit all these source videos that we're taking a look at here for yourself so that you can see with your own eyes and hear with your own ears the truth that we're exposing here to you. So this case ties to Amy Klobuchar, who you may remember just recently dropped out of the presidential race. She was going for the Democratic nomination, and the reason for her dropping out was related to this Mayan Burrell case, supposedly. And Mayan Burrell supposedly spent years in prison for a murder of a young brown-skinned girl as well that he didn't commit. But as you're learning over and over again, this racial tension is built over time through several different narratives, not just one. And we recognize that in this particular case, again, tying to presidential levels, that this Mayan Burrell was actually being played by a very famous actor who we know to be Martin Lawrence. And this one is going to make a lot of people very uncomfortable, because what we're seeing here is some favorites, right? Martin Lawrence, very famous comedian, and for many years made so many laugh. But there's nothing funny when we drop the opacity of these two images and lay the Martin Lawrence image on top of this screenshot of this Mayan Burrell. Once again, seeing with your own eyes that these facial features between these two images match up perfectly. So once again, rolling the opacity all the way down in Photoshop to begin with the Mayan Burrell image, and then while leaving the Martin Lawrence image on top of it, we slowly roll the opacity back up so that you can see clearly how the facial features between these two images, between these supposedly two different men, match exactly. Another piece of evidence to show us that the Liar Liar Pants on Fire Secret Drama Society are behind this story as well. This is going to bring up a lot of questions, naturally, when you're seeing this evidence, asking yourself, well, then who do we go to hold these people accountable? And the reason that we're fast-tracking these examples to you and this work, risking in the process some serious censorship in having this work pulled down, and that's why the video series that goes much deeper into this type of evidence, in fact, 122 examples we have to provide in our Taken at Face Value video series to show you and expose to you all the ways, tricks, and tactics that this same cult keeps pulling all of this off and have been for many, many years. So back to the question of who do we go to hold these people accountable. The reason this work is so timely is because naturally we've all been taught to go to leaders, in particular law enforcement and government. And this next example is so mind-blowing because we have to shatter the entire paradigm that is actually a false paradigm that we've been given about how our system supposedly works here and even how it's broken. Because none of what we've been presented is as it appears. What we're looking at here, I'm sure many of you recognize this man's face as he's been in the news very often, starting back to President Trump's impeachment. And this is for everybody to understand that it doesn't matter who you vote for, who you place in these positions, who you think that you do. Because this Liar Liar Pants on Fire Secret Drama Society, you are going to see with your own eyes, operates even beyond boundaries that you think are countries. This is all over the earth and an international cult that is operating, including in this, who you are to believe is the highest law enforcement official in this so-called country, commonly known as America. So this is the Attorney General of the United States, Barr. And this is so mind-blowing. It was to us when we actually realized who was playing this character. So let's get to that as we lay a side-by-side image of William Barr, the U.S. Attorney General, next to an image of who we know to be Elton John, a music industry superstar and also a British man. So we're going to drop the opacity of the Elton John image and lay it on top of the William Barr U.S. Attorney General image so that you can take in this mind-blowing information for yourself. realizing that this very convincing American accent being done by this British music superstar, you can just consider how easy that might be for somebody like Elton John to have cultivated over the years, because even British singers, right, sing in a way that makes them sound as if they're not British, but American. But mind-blowing to realize that this Liar Liar Pants on Fire Secret Drama Society cult put Sir Elton John in disguise as the U.S. Attorney General, William Barr. This is so that everybody understands that these are not the people that we need to be seeking solutions about this massive deception, because it is this very cult, these very people that you would go to hold their fellow cult members who are also behind the scenes in this hideous act, deceiving all the rest of us. Well, those would be the people that you would be going to hold them accountable. This is to show you that the left, right, or red and blue paradigm here in what you think is American politics is also just another divide and conquer strategy, just as racism is. And it doesn't matter who you think that you're voting for or not, because this same cult can put whoever they want to in these positions, and up until now, no one would know the difference. There's no such thing as term limits in this system that you are taught to believe that this is how power is kept in check and this is how things work. We're taking a look at here a screenshot of what should be now a very familiar face, at least to most Americans. This is the mayor of New York City, Bill de Blasio, and he's shown up all over the mainstream media and national news lately during this viral panic time. This is from an NBC News interview that he did, what we commonly call March 22nd of 2020, of which he's talking about the whole country being shut down because of this supposed viral panic. But as we were watching and listening to this performance, we recognized somebody very famous and familiar, and it's quite an inconvenient truth to realize that the mayor of New York City, Bill de Blasio, is being played by former Vice President of the United States, Al Gore. And there's not much of a disguise, as you can see with your own eyes, from the transformation of the former Vice President of the United States to the current mayor of New York City. It's just a pair of colored contacts, a slightly changed nose, a little bit of changes to the teeth, but otherwise very easy to recognize once you can see this unbelievable truth, but still the truth nonetheless for yourself. This is why term limits matter not one bit to this same cult, and all of them, despite what you think their political ideologies are, or whether or not they have any eligibility to hold office because they've already held office in a position of leadership in the past. All of that is nothing but a massive deception to keep this truly powerful truth hidden from you. You are expected to take everything that the Liar Liar Pants on Fire Secret Drama Society give you at face value. And now you know why. You can contact us by email to get your own private copy of our 30-part video series, Taken at Face Value, that goes much deeper behind the scenes into all of these stories that we are presented to take at face value, and to show you exactly whose faces it really is that has been lying to all of us all of this time. The time is now for all of us to wake up and take this awakening all over the earth to the next level. Until next time, be well.